You step from the station into the evening air, and it touches your face first, cool but not cold. A soft weight to it. Damp, maybe. The kind that settles on your skin and stays there, quiet and patient. You pause just beyond the doors, not because you need to decide where to go, but because the air asks you to. It moves across your cheeks, your throat, the back of your hands. You breathe it in slowly, and it tastes faintly metallic, faintly green, like water that has been sitting still under open sky. The light is falling now, but not gone. It hangs between buildings in soft bands of amber and gray-blue, as though the city is exhaling the last warmth of the day. You look across the wide square ahead, and the ground is pale stone, smooth and uneven in places, worn by years of footsteps you cannot see but can somehow feel beneath your own soles. There are people moving, but they do not rush. Their shapes pass like shadows through the low light, and their voices dissolve before they reach you. You begin to walk. Your steps make almost no sound. The stone beneath you absorbs them, or perhaps the air does. You are aware of your own breathing, the rhythm of it, and the way your body moves forward without effort, without thought. You are being pulled gently, not by direction, but by something softer, a sense of where the city wants you to go. Ahead, you see the edges of buildings, narrow and tall, leaning slightly as though tired. Their windows glow in small squares of yellow and orange, dim and private. You do not look into them. You only notice the light they give, the way it spills onto the stone and fades before it reaches you. There are no sharp edges here. Everything is softened, blurred at the corners, as though the city is already preparing to dream. You pass a row of bicycles. They are leaning against a low metal rail, one after another, their handlebars tilted at different angles. Black frames, brown leather seats, some with baskets hanging from the front. You slow as you walk beside them, and you hear the faint ticking of a chain swaying in the breeze. It is a small sound, barely there, but once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Tick, pause, tick. Like a clock that has forgotten to keep time. You stop. You rest your hand lightly on the rail, and the metal is cool and slightly rough with age. You feel the texture of it under your palm, the thin crust of rust or wear that has built up over seasons you did not witness. The bicycles are silent now, except for that one chain. You look down the row and see how they are stacked close together, wheels nearly touching, pedals overlapping. There is something tender about it, something patient. You lift your hand from the rail and keep walking. The street curves gently to the left, and the buildings lean in closer now. You notice the brick dark red, almost brown in this light, laid in patterns you do not try to count. The mortar between them is pale gray, and in some places it has worn away, leaving small gaps, small absences. You pass a doorway painted deep green, another in faded blue. The paint is chipped at the edges, and you imagine the layers beneath, all the colors this door has been. And then you hear it. Water, not loud, not rushing, just the faint lap of it somewhere near, moving against stone. You slow again, listening, trying to place it. It is ahead of you maybe, or to the left. The sound seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. You follow it without deciding to. The street opens. And there, just beyond the last row of buildings, is the canal. It lies flat and dark and still, stretched between the two edges of the city like a long breath held. The water reflects nothing clearly, only suggestions of light, soft streaks of amber and silver that waver and dissolve as you watch. You step closer, toward the low stone edge, and you stop there looking down. The water is black-green in the dim light, opaque, as though it is keeping something hidden. You cannot see the bottom, you cannot see through it. But you can see the surface, The way it moves so slowly you might not notice unless you stay very still. A ripple passes from left to right, barely lifting the reflected light, and then it is gone. You rest your hands on the railing. It is iron, cold under your palms, slightly damp. You feel the shape of it, round and solid, and you lean forward just a little, letting your weight settle into your arms. The air here is different, cooler, heavier. It smells faintly of stone and algae and something else you cannot name. Something old, perhaps, or simply wet. You breathe it in and let it fill your chest, slow and deep. Across the canal, the buildings rise narrow and close, their facades lit softly from within. Some windows are curtained, some are bare. You see the flicker of movement behind one, someone passing through a room, a shadow crossing light, and then stillness again. The rooftops are uneven, gabled, leaning toward one another like old friends. You imagine the weight of all those rooms, all those lives pressing down gently into the earth. You hear footsteps behind you, soft, steady, fatting, someone passing. You do not turn to look. You stay where you are, leaning on the rail, watching the water and the footsteps dissolve into the quiet. A bicycle rolls past on the street behind you. You hear the soft whir of its wheels, the faint creak of its frame, and then it too is gone. You are alone again. To your right, a small bridge arches over the canal. It is narrow, built of the same dark brick as the buildings, with iron railings that curve gently upward. You step toward it, your feet finding the slight incline, and you begin to cross. The bridge is only wide enough for a few people to stand side by side, but there is no one here now. Just you and the air and the water below. You stop in the center where the arch is highest and you look down. From here, the canal stretches in both directions, curving gently out of sight. On either side, the buildings press close, their reflections trembling on the surface. You see the glow of street lamps, small orbs of light, pale yellow, spaced evenly along the water's edge. They do not brighten the night. They only mark it softly, like candles that have burned halfway down. You rest both hands on the railing and lean forward. The water below is moving, though you cannot see what moves it. Perhaps a current, slow and patient, pulling everything toward the harbor. Perhaps only the wind brushing across the surface. You watch and you breathe, and time softens around you. A boat appears. It comes from the left, drifting slowly into view. Long and low, with a flat deck and a small cabin at the front. The windows of the cabin are lit from within, a warm orange glow, and you can see shapes moving inside. People perhaps, though you cannot tell. The boat makes almost no sound, just the faint lap of water against its hull, a rhythm like breathing. You watch it pass beneath you. It moves with such slowness that you forget it is moving at all. It simply exists here and then there and then beyond. The water behind it lifts and falls in gentle ripples, spreading outward, touching the stone edges of the canal, and then settling again. You wait until the boat has disappeared around the curve, and even then you wait a little longer, listening to the fatting sound of water reshaping itself. You lift your gaze. Ahead on the far side of the bridge, the street continues, narrower now, lined with trees whose branches reach across the canal like dark veins. You cannot see their leaves clearly in this light, only the shapes of them, swaying faintly. You step forward off the bridge, onto the cobblestones, and you keep walking. The canal runs beside you now, on your left, constant and quiet. You do not look at it directly, but you feel it there, a presence, a weight, a coolness in the air. The buildings on your right are close enough to touch. You pass a window glowing softly behind lace curtains. You pass a door with a brass knocker shaped like a lion's head. You pass a narrow alley no wider than your shoulders disappearing into darkness. Your footsteps are the only sound, or maybe not. Maybe there are others farther away, too faint to separate from the hush of the city. You are not sure. You are not trying to be sure. You are only walking slowly, letting the night hold you. Another bridge appears ahead. This one is smaller, simpler, just a low stone arch with no railings. You step onto it and your feet find the smooth dip in the center where countless others have walked before you. You pause there, halfway across, and you turn to look back the way you came. The canal stretches behind you, darkening now as the last of the evening light slips away. The street lamps have grown brighter, though their light is still soft, still patient. You see the shapes of buildings reflected in the water, wavering gently. And you see the outline of the bridge you crossed before, its arch a darker curve against the sky. You turn forward again. The street ahead splits into two, curving around either side of another canal. You choose the left without thinking, and the city folds around you. The buildings here are even closer, their upper floors leaning out over the street, their facades painted in colors you can only guess at in this light: rust, cream, deep plum. You pass beneath a street lamp, and for a moment your shadow stretches long and thin across the cobblestones, and then you are in dimness again. The water is always near. You hear it quiet and constant, and you smell it, and you feel the coolness it brings to the air. It is not a landmark. It is not a destination. It is simply the way the city breathes, slowly in and out, carrying you deeper with each breath. You do not know how far you have walked. You do not count the bridges or the streets or the minutes. You only know that you are here now, moving through the soft dark of Amsterdam's evening, and the city is moving with you, around you, through you. You let yourself drift. You cross another bridge and then another, and the city begins to fold into patterns you recognize without nomming. Each bridge is slightly different. This one has railings painted black, smooth under your fingertips. The next is bare stone, waist-high walls worn round at the edges. Another curves more steeply, so that when you stand at its peak you feel lifted, suspended for a moment above the water and the street. But they all do the same thing. They carry you over and they ask you to pause. You pause. You stand on a bridge whose name you do not know, will never know, and you look down. The water is darker now. The sky has given up its last light, and what remains is the glow from windows, from street lamps, from the occasional headlight of a car moving slowly past. These small fires reflect on the surface, trembling, stretching into long, soft lines that bend and dissolve and reform. You rest your forearms on the railing and let your weight settle there. The air is cooler now. You feel it on the back of your neck, on your wrists. It carries the smell of water and wet stone and something faintly sweet, flowers maybe, or bread from a window left open nearby. You breathe slowly and your breath makes a small cloud in front of you, pale and brief, and then it is gone. A light flickers across the canal. You lift your eyes and see a window on the second floor of a narrow house. The curtains are drawn back, and inside, a lamp glows warm and amber. You cannot see the person who turned it on, but you see the effect of it. The way the light fills the room, touches the walls, spills out onto the facade. The bricks around the window seem softer in that glow, less rigid, almost breathing. You look at the house itself. It is narrow, impossibly narrow, no wider than 3 windows across. 4 stories tall, maybe 5, rising straight and serious from the canal's edge. The facade is pale, cream or gray or something in between, and the window frames are painted white. Above the top floor, the roofline ends in a stepped gable, a shape like a staircase leading nowhere. You have seen this shape before on the last street and the street before that. It is the city's signature, repeated quietly, endlessly, a rhythm built in brick. You shift your gaze to the house beside it. This one is darker. The bricks are deep rust, almost brown, and the windows are smaller. The curtains here are closed, heavy fabric in a color you cannot determine. But there is light behind them, soft and muted, as though someone is moving through the rooms with a single candle. You imagine the warmth inside, the creak of floorboards, the weight of old wood and old walls holding the night at bay. You push yourself gently away from the railing and keep walking. The canal runs beside you, constant, patient. The street curves with it, never straight for long, always bending softly to follow the water's arc. Your footsteps are quiet on the cobblestones, small rounded stones, uneven, fitted together like a puzzle no one was meant to solve. They press up through the soles of your shoes, and you feel each one, the way your weight shifts from step to step, the way your body adjusts without thought. You pass a tree. Its trunk is thin and dark, rising from a small square of earth cut into the pavement. The branches reach out over the canal, bare now or nearly bare, just a few leaves clinging to. The thinnest twigs. They move slightly in the breeze, a slow sway, and you hear the faint rustle of them, dry, papery, like whispers you are not meant to understand. You come to a corner and you hesitate. The street splits here. To the left, it continues along the canal, darker, quieter, the street lamps farther apart. To the right, it leads away from the water, toward a row of shops whose windows glow brightly, whose signs hang painted and proud. You hear voices from that direction, faint and distant, a murmur of conversation, the clink of glass. You choose the left. You do not decide exactly. You simply turn and the darker street receives you, and the voices fade behind you like something you only imagined. The canal narrows here, or seems to. The buildings press closer on both sides, their reflections reaching toward one another across the water, almost touching. The gap between them is a ribbon of black-green, smooth and silent. You walk more slowly now. There is no reason to hurry. There has never been a reason to hurry. You are aware of your breath, the way it moves in and out, steady and deep. You are aware of the coolness in your lungs, the warmth in your chest. You are aware of the sound your feet make or do not make, and the way the night absorbs everything soft. A bicycle passes you. You hear it before you see it, the quiet whir of its tires, the faint creak of the seat. You step to the side, closer to the canal railing, and the bicycle rolls past, slow and unbothered. The rider does not look at you. They are hunched slightly forward, hands resting lightly on the handlebars, a dark coat draped over their shoulders. The bike's rear light blinks red once, twice, 3 times, and then it is gone around the curve. You step back into the center of the street. Another bridge rises ahead, and you climb it without thinking. Your legs know the motion now. The slight effort of the incline, the brief suspension at the top, the easy descent on the other side. But you do not descend. Not yet. You stop at the peak and turn to face the canal. From here, you can see 3 bridges behind you, their arches stacked like echoes. Each one frames a piece of the canal, a piece of the street, a piece of the glowing windows beyond. The nearest bridge is dark stone. The next is lighter painted white, almost ghostly. The farthest is barely visible, just a suggestion of shape against the dim sky. You rest your hand on the railing and feel the cold metal, the slight dampness of it, and you look at this layered view as though it is a painting you are standing inside. The water reflects everything and nothing. You see the streaks of light, the soft glow of amber and silver, but you do not see the buildings clearly. They are suggestions, impressions. The canal holds them loosely, lets them waver and blur, and when the breeze touches the surface, they break apart entirely, just ripples and darkness, and then they slowly reassemble. You hear footsteps. Somewhere behind you, someone is walking. The sound is faint, muffled by distance and the cushion of night air. You do not turn. You stay facing the water, listening. The footsteps grow closer, steady and unhurried, and then they stop. You sense someone standing near you a few meters away, also looking at the canal. You do not see them. You do not need to. For a moment, you are two strangers sharing the same stillness. And then the footsteps resume, crossing the bridge, descending the other side, fading into the street beyond. You are alone again. You lower your eyes to the water directly below. It is moving, just barely. You see a leaf drifting past, brown and curled, spinning slowly in a current you cannot otherwise perceive. It floats from left to right, brushing against the canal wall, then drifting free again, continuing its journey towards some distant harbor or lock or bend where it will finally come to rest. You watch until it disappears into the shadow beneath the next bridge. You turn and descend the far side. The street here is narrower still. The houses lean inward, their upper floors jutting out over the pavement, and when you look up, you see the stripe of sky between them. Deep blue now, almost black, with no stars visible through the city's glow. The facades here are painted in darker colors. Charcoal, deep green, a brownish red that might be rust or might be intention. The windows are small and square, some lit, some dark, each one a separate world you will never enter. You pass a doorway. It is painted glossy black with a brass handle shaped like a loop. Above it, a fan-light window curves in delicate panes of glass, and through them you see the faint glow of a hallway within. Wallpaper in a pattern you cannot quite discern, a mirror reflecting light from somewhere deeper inside. You imagine stepping through that door. You imagine the creak of it opening, the smell of old wood and wax, the coolness of the tiled floor beneath your feet. But you do not stop. You only notice and then you move on. The canal is always on your left. Sometimes the street pulls you slightly away from it, around a corner, past a building that stands between you and the water. But then the street curves back and the canal reappears, faithful and unchanging, and you return to its edge as though you never left. You come to a wider section where two canals meet. The water opens here, a small intersection of dark and light, and you stop to watch the way the reflections tangle and separate. A street lamp stands at the corner, its light falling in a perfect circle on the pavement, and beyond it the water holds the glow loosely, a pale disk that trembles and shifts. You see the shapes of moored boats along the far edge, long narrow vessels, their decks empty, their ropes tied to iron rings embedded in the stone. They sit low in the water, patient, waiting for morning or for no one. You step onto another bridge. This one is painted white and the paint is chipped in places, showing layers of green and gray beneath. You run your hand along the railing as you walk, feeling the texture change under your palm, smooth paint, then rough rust, then smooth again. The bridge is so narrow that if someone were coming the other way, you would have to turn sideways to pass. But no one comes. At the center, you stop and lean out over the water. You hear it now more clearly than before, the faint lap of it against the canal walls, a rhythm like breathing, like the slow beat of something ancient and patient. You close your eyes and let the sound fill the space behind your eyelids. You feel the coolness on your face, the weight of the air, the stillness of your own body suspended above the water. When you open your eyes, the world has not changed. The canal stretches away in both directions, dark and soft and endless. The buildings lean close, their windows glowing like small promises. The bridges curve and wait. You step down from the white bridge and continue walking. The streets here are quieter. Fewer bicycles pass, fewer footsteps. The voices you heard earlier have dissolved completely, and what remains is only the hush of water, the whisper of wind through empty branches, the distant hum of a city breathing in its sleep. You pass a cafe, its windows fogged from the warmth inside. Through the glass, you see the shapes of people sitting at small tables, leaning toward one another, holding cups in both hands. You do not hear their words. You only see the glow of the space, the amber light, the way it spills out onto the pavement and fades before it reaches you. You keep walking. The canal bends again, more gently now, and the buildings here are lower, softer in their geometry. The facades are less formal, less symmetrical. Some are painted in faded pastels, pale yellow, soft blue, a green so muted it is almost gray. You see window boxes, empty now, and shutters hanging slightly crooked, and doorways with steps worn smooth in the center. Night grows calmer. You feel it in your shoulders, in the rhythm of your breath. The city is settling around you, folding you into its quietest hours, and you let it. You do not resist. You only walk bridge to bridge, canal to canal, drifting deeper into the soft, dark geometry of Amsterdam's heart. The streets become narrower here and softer somehow, as though the city has exhaled and let its edges blur. You are not sure when the change happened. Perhaps it was at the last bridge or the one before. Perhaps it was gradual, a slow unfolding that your body noticed before your mind did. But you feel it now, a shift in the air, in the light, in the way the buildings hold themselves. The facades here do not stand at attention. They lean, they sag gently, they wear their age without apology. The bricks are darker, rougher, less uniform. Some are deep red, some brown, some so weathered they have turned the color of damp earth. The mortar between them is soft and crumbling in places, and you see small tufts of moss growing in the cracks, dark green and tender against the old stone. You walk more slowly now, without deciding to. The street is barely wide enough for two people to pass side by side. On your left, the canal has narrowed to a slender ribbon, and on your right, the houses press close, their doorways painted in colors that have faded into whispers, blue that was once bright, green that was once alive, red that has softened into rust. You pass one door, then another, and you notice the details without trying. A brass mail slot shaped like a rectangle, a doormat woven from rough fiber, a small ceramic tile beside the bell with a name painted in careful script. A window above you glows softly. You pause and look up. The window is small, just 2 panes of glass divided by a thin wooden frame, and inside you see a plant, something with broad, dark leaves pressed close to the glass as though leaning toward the street. Behind it, deeper in the room, a lamp burns low, casting warm light onto a wall painted pale yellow. You cannot see the person who lives there, but you feel the presence of them, the quiet life unfolding in that small, bright space. You lower your gaze and keep walking. The cobblestones here are smaller, more irregular. They shift slightly under your weight, and you hear the faint click of them settling back into place. Your footsteps make almost no sound. The air absorbs everything, holds it gently, and releases it as silence. You come to a corner and the street bends sharply to the right. You follow it, and as you turn, you glimpse a courtyard, just a flash of it through an open passageway. You stop and step closer. The passageway is narrow, barely wider than your shoulders, and it tunnels through the ground floor of a building. The walls are whitewashed brick, and the floor is laid with tiles in a pattern of blue and cream, worn smooth in the center. You can see through to the other side, where the passageway opens into a small square of space, enclosed on all sides by buildings. There are plants there, pots of them, clustered near the walls. Their leaves dark and still. A bicycle leans against a drain pipe. A wooden bench sits beneath a window. Everything is quiet. Everything is private. You do not enter. You only look, and then you step back and you continue along the street. The canal appears again on your left, closer now. The railing here is simpler. Just a low iron bar, painted black, slightly rusted at the joints. You rest your hand on it as you walk, letting it guide you, and the metal is cold and damp under your palm. The water below is barely moving. It sits heavy and dark, reflecting nothing clearly, just the faint suggestion of light from a window somewhere behind you. You pass another bridge. This one is so small you almost do not notice it. Just a low stone arch, no railings, wide enough for one person to cross comfortably. You step onto it and the stones are smooth and slightly concave, worn by centuries of footsteps. At the center, you pause and look down. The canal here is so narrow you feel you could reach across it, could trail your fingers in the water on both sides at once. The walls are lined with old brick, green with algae at the waterline, and you see a rope tied to an iron ring, hanging slack, disappearing into the black-green below. You do not know what it holds. You do not need to. You cross to the other side and the street curves gently left. Here, the houses are even closer together. Their walls touch, or nearly touch, and their roof lines tilt at different angles as though they have settled unevenly over time. You see chimneys rising thin and crooked and gabled ends with small windows tucked under the eaves, and facades painted in soft, forgotten colors, dusty pink, pale ochre, a blue so faded it is almost white. A cat appears on a windowsill. You see it in the corner of your vision, a dark shape, compact and still, sitting behind the glass. You stop and look at it fully. The cat is black, or nearly black, with eyes that catch the light from somewhere inside the room and glow faint green. It does not move. It watches you, or seems to, and you watch it. And for a moment you are both simply present, two creatures noticing each other in the quiet. Then the cat blinks slowly and turns its head away. And you keep walking. The street splits here and you hesitate. To the left, the street continues along the water, dim and narrow, disappearing around a curve. To the right, it leads away from the canal, between two rows of houses so close they block the sky. You do not remember which way you came from. You do not remember the route that brought you here. The streets have folded around you, over you, and you have let them. You choose the right because it feels quieter. You walk between the houses and the walls rise on either side, close enough to touch. The cobblestones here are slick with dampness, and you step carefully, listening to the soft scuff of your shoes. There are no street lamps here, only the faint glow from windows above, and the narrow stripe of sky overhead is deep blue-black, starless. You come to another corner and you turn left and you find yourself on a street you do not recognize. Or perhaps you do. Perhaps you passed this way before. It is hard to tell. The streets here all share the same language, brick and water and soft light, and they speak it quietly without distinction. You are not lost. You are only uncertain, and the uncertainty is gentle, almost pleasant. You let it be. You walk a little farther and you hear the water again, that faint lapping sound, patient and rhythmic. You follow it, turning right, then left, then right again, and the canal reappears, loyal and unchanged, and you return to its edge as though you never left. You smile just slightly, though no one sees. The night is deeper now. The windows glow more brightly in contrast, small squares of warmth scattered along the facades. You pass one window and see a table set for two, plates, glasses, a candle burning low in the center. You pass another and see a bookshelf, its shelves crowded with spines in colors you cannot distinguish. You pass a third and see only the reflection of your own face, pale and blurred, moving across the glass like a ghost. You come to a small bridge and you cross it, and on the other side you see a cafe. It is small, just a single room with large windows facing the street. The glass is fogged with warmth, and through it you see the glow of amber light, the shapes of people sitting at a wooden bar, the slow movement of someone pouring something from a bottle into a glass. The door is painted dark brown, and above it, a sign hangs on a wrought iron bracket, words in a script you do not read, or perhaps you do not try. You stop outside the window, a few meters away, and you stand very still. Inside, the space is small and close. The walls are lined with wood paneling, dark and glossy with age, and shelves hold bottles and glasses and small objects you cannot name from here. The bar runs along one side, and three people sit there, their backs to the window, their heads bent slightly as though in conversation or in thought. One of them lifts a glass slowly and takes a sip, and sets it down again with care. The light inside is golden, almost amber, and it softens everything it touches. You see the grain of the wood, the curve of the glasses, the way the liquid inside them catches the light and glows faintly. You hear nothing from inside. The glass is too thick, or the night is too quiet, but you imagine the low murmur of voices, the clink of glass on wood, the creak of a stool shifting under weight. You do not go inside. You only stand there outside the fogged window, feeling the warmth that radiates faintly through the glass. You feel the coolness of the night at your back and the glow of the cafe in front of you, and you exist in the space between them, neither warm nor cold, neither inside nor outside. After a while, you step back. You turn away from the cafe and continue along the street. The canal runs beside you, quiet and constant, and the buildings lean close, and the night holds everything softly. You feel the weight of your own body, the steady rhythm of your breath, the way your feet find the cobblestones without thought. You pass a doorway with a small lantern hanging beside it, unlit. You pass a window box filled with dried stems, brittle and pale. You pass a bicycle chained to a railing, its basket holding a folded newspaper that has softened in the damp air. The street curves gently and you follow it. You are aware distantly that you are hungry, not urgently, not painfully, Just a quiet awareness, a small hollow feeling somewhere beneath your ribs. You think of food, simple food, something warm and plain. Bread maybe, soup, something that asks nothing of you. You walk a little farther and the street widens slightly. The canal bends away to the left, and ahead you see the soft glow of another window, another door, another small promise of warmth. You do not hurry toward it. You only walk steadily, calmly, letting the city guide you. The night is deep and soft around you. The Jordaan holds you gently in its narrow streets, its small lights, its patient silence. You are not trying to arrive anywhere. You are only here, moving slowly through the dark, and the city moves with you, breath by breath, step by step. You push open the door and warmth touches your face immediately. It is not heat, nothing sharp or overwhelming, just a gentle shift in the air, a softness that wraps around you as you step inside. The door closes behind you with a quiet click, and the sound of the street, the faint rustle of wind, the distant lap of water, fades into something smaller, something held. Space is narrow and deep, stretching back into shadow. The walls are painted cream, or perhaps they were white once and have yellowed with time and lamplight. The floor is wooden, dark planks worn smooth in the center where countless feet have walked the same path from door to counter to table. You hear the soft creak of it under your weight as you step forward. To your left, a row of hooks lines the wall and coats hang there. Dark wool, faded denim, a scarf in muted green draped over one shoulder of a jacket. You slip off your own coat slowly, feeling the weight of it leave your shoulders, and you hang it on an empty hook. It settles there, heavy and damp, and you stand for a moment, adjusting to the lightness of being without it. The light here is low and warm. It comes from small lamps mounted on the walls, their shades made of amber glass that glows like honey. There are no overhead lights, no brightness. Only this soft, gathered glow that pools in corners and fades toward the ceiling. Ahead, a counter runs along the right side of the room. It is wooden, old and solid, with a surface polished smooth by years of hands resting there, coins sliding across, cups set down and lifted again. Behind it, shelves hold jars and bottles and small ceramic. Containers whose contents you cannot guess. A chalkboard hangs on the wall, words written in careful script, listing things in a language you recognize but do not fully speak. A woman stands behind the counter. She is older perhaps, or perhaps only tired. Her hair is pulled back loosely, and she wears a dark sweater and an apron tied at the waist. She is wiping a cup with a cloth, slowly, methodically, her hands moving in small circles. She does not look up when you approach, but you sense she knows you are there. You stop at the counter and wait. She finishes with the cup, sets it on a shelf behind her, and then she turns to face you. Her eyes are kind, or at least not unkind. She does not smile, but her expression is open, patient. She says something, a word, a question, soft and low, and you do not fully understand, but you understand enough. You look at the chalkboard, at the words written there, and you choose something simple. Soup. Bread, cheese. You say the words quietly, pointing, and she nods once, a small dip of her chin, and she turns away. You step back from the counter. There are 3 small tables in the room, each one just large enough for 2 people to sit across from one another. 2 of the tables are empty. At the third, near the window, a man sits alone, a cup in front of him, his hands wrapped around it as though he is holding something precious. He does not look at you. His gaze is fixed somewhere beyond the glass, out into the darkening street. You choose the table farthest from the window, against the wall, and you sit. The chair is wooden, simple, with a curved back that fits against your spine. You settle into it and you feel your body relax, slowly, muscle by muscle. You rest your hands on the table, palms down, and the wood is cool and smooth under your skin. You can see the grain of it, thin lines running the length of the surface and small imperfections. A knot here, a faint scratch there, a place where the finish has worn away. You hear the woman moving behind the counter. The soft clink of a bowl against another bowl, the scrape of a ladle, the rustle of cloth. You do not watch her. You only listen, and the sounds are slow and deliberate, a quiet choreography you do not need to see to understand. You look toward the window. The glass is fogged at the edges, and through it you see the street beyond, dim and soft. The canal runs just outside, and you see the faint gleam of water, the dark shapes of buildings on the far side, the glow of a strut lamp reflected and wavering. The sky above is heavy, thick with cloud, and as you watch, a single drop of rain touches the glass, then another, sliding down slowly, leaving thin trails behind. The woman approaches your table. She carries a tray, holding it steady with both hands. On it a bowl, a plate, a small glass. She sets them down one by one, gently, without speaking. The bowl is white ceramic, wide and shallow, filled with soup that steams faintly in the cool air. The plate holds 3 slices of bread, dark and dense, and beside them a wedge of cheese, pale yellow, cut with care. The glass is filled with water, clear and still. She steps back, nods once more, and returns to the counter. You look at the food in front of you. The soup is golden brown, thick and opaque, with small flecks of green floating on the surface. Herbs, perhaps, or the remnants of something cooked down until it surrendered its shape. You lift the spoon, and it is heavier than you expected, solid in your hand. You dip it into the soup, breaking the surface, and you bring it to your lips. The taste is simple and warm, earthy, faintly sweet. You cannot name all the flavors, but you do not try. You only taste and swallow and feel the warmth move down your throat, into your chest, spreading slowly through your body. You take another spoonful and another, and you eat without hurry, pausing between each bite to let the warmth settle. You set the spoon down and reach for the bread. It is dense and moist, with a crust that yields under your fingers. You tear a piece away, and the inside is soft and grainy, darker than the crust, almost purple-brown. You bring it to your nose and smell it, yeast and grain and something faintly sour, the smell of time and fermentation. You take a bite, and the texture is heavy on your tongue, satisfying, requiring you to chew slowly, thoughtfully. You pick up the cheese. It is firmer than you expected, slightly crumbly, and when you break a piece away, you see the small, irregular holes within it, the marks of aging. You place it on your tongue and let it sit there for a moment before chewing. The flavor is sharp and clean, cutting through the heaviness of the bread, and together they balance, each one softening the other. You eat slowly, very slowly, and between bites you pause. You lift your eyes to the window again. The rain has grown steadier now, thin lines streaking the glass, blurring the shapes beyond. You hear it faintly, a soft patter against the pavement outside, against the canal's surface. Inside, the room is warm and dry and still. The lamps glow. The woman behind the counter folds a cloth, smooths it flat, folds it again. The man at the other table lifts his cup and drinks, his throat moving once, twice, and then he sets the cup down with great care. You return to your soup. You eat half of it, then pause. You drink water, and the glass is cool against your lips, and the water is clean and tasteless, and you are grateful for it. You eat another slice of bread, tearing it into smaller pieces, taking your time. You do not finish everything. You do not need to. You sit back in your chair and rest your hands in your lap. Your body feels heavier now in a good way, anchored. The warmth of the food has spread through you, and you feel it in your fingers, your chest, the back of your neck. You close your eyes for a moment, just a moment, and you listen. The rain, the faint hum of something mechanical, a refrigerator perhaps, or a heater hidden somewhere. The creak of the floorboards as the woman shifts her weight behind the counter. The sound of your own breathing, slow and deep. You open your eyes. The window is darker now. The rain continues, soft and patient, and the canal beyond is nearly invisible, just a faint suggestion of movement, of water accepting each drop and folding it into itself. The strut lamp glows brighter in contrast, a small beacon in the gathering dark. You stand slowly and you walk back to the counter. The woman looks up as you approach. You gesture toward the table, toward the half-finished bowl and plate, and you reach into your pocket for coins. She tells you a number quietly, and you count the coins into your palm and place them on the counter. She nods, scoops them toward herself, and drops them into a small wooden box beneath the register. You turn toward the door, but you do not rush. You lift your coat from the hook and you slip it on, feeling the coolness of the fabric against your arms, your shoulders. You fasten it slowly, button by button, and you stand there for a moment, adjusting to the weight of it again. The woman says something, a word, maybe two, and you turn. She nods at you just once, and her expression is still calm, still patient, but there is something warmer in it now. You nod back and you push open the door. The night air meets you, cool and damp, carrying the scent of rain and stone. You step outside and the door closes softly behind you, and the warmth of the kafah fades, held now only in your body, in the memory of soup and bread and stillness. You stand on the pavement for a moment, letting the rain touch your face. It is light, barely more than mist, and it clings to your skin, to your eyelashes. You blink and the world sharpens slightly, and you see the canal ahead, dark and patient, waiting for you to return. You step forward and the street receives you, and the canals fold around you once more. You walk beside the canal, and the night has deepened into something older now, something quieter. The rain has stopped, or perhaps it was never rain at all, only mist, only the exhale of the city cooling into darkness. The pavement is slick and dark, reflecting the glow of the strut lamps in long, wavering streaks. Your footsteps make soft sounds, muted and rhythmic, and they are swallowed almost immediately by the stillness around you. The lamps along the canal are spaced evenly, each one a small orb of pale yellow light suspended above the water. They do not brighten the night. They only mark it gently, like candles placed along a path you are meant to follow slowly, reverently. The light they cast is soft and falls in perfect circles on the pavement, and where the circles overlap, the brightness doubles just slightly, just enough to notice. You stop at the canal's edge and rest your hands on the railing. The metal is cold and wet under your palms, and you feel the slight roughness of it, the texture of paint worn thin by weather and time. You look down at the water, and it is black now, truly black, with only the reflections to give it shape. The lamps are mirrored there, long vertical streaks of gold yellow that waver and stretch as the surface moves. You cannot tell if the water is moving toward you or away from you. You cannot tell if it is moving at all, or if the reflections themselves are drifting untethered from their sources. You stand very still and you watch. A ripple appears, small, barely perceptible, and it spreads outward in concentric rings. You do not know what caused it. A fish, perhaps, a leaf falling, the shift of air itself. The rings expand slowly, touching the reflected light, distorting it, bending it into shapes that dissolve and reform as they pass. You follow one ring with your eyes, watching it grow wider and fainter until it reaches the far edge of the canal and disappears against the stone wall. You breathe in, and the air is cool and heavy with moisture. You taste it on your tongue, stone and water, and something faintly metallic, the residue of rain that never quite arrived. You breathe out and your breath makes a small cloud, visible for a moment in the lamplight, and then it is gone. You lift your gaze to the far side of the canal. There are houseboats moored there, 4 or 5 of them, resting low in the water. They are long and narrow, built of wood and painted in colors you can only guess at in this light. Dark green, maybe, or brown, or a blue so deep it appears black. Their windows glow softly, some bright, some dim, and through them you see the suggestion of interiors. The edge of a table, the corner of a bookshelf, the flicker of a television no one is watching. One boat is entirely dark, its windows blank and black, and you wonder if anyone lives there, or if it sits empty, rocking gently with the water, waiting. You push yourself away from the railing and begin walking again. The canal curves to the right and you follow it. The buildings on your left lean close, their facades rising dark and silent into the sky. The windows here are mostly unlit now. The city is sleeping or preparing to sleep, and you are moving through the margins of its consciousness, the soft, dim space between waking and dreaming. You come to a bridge and you climb it. The incline is gentle and your legs carry you without effort. At the top, you stop and turn to face the canal. From here you can see farther, 3 bridges behind you, their arches dark against the faint glow of street lamps, and ahead the canal stretching into shadow, curving out of sight. The water reflects nothing clearly now. It is only darkness with thin streaks of light laid across it like threads. You hear a bicycle. The sound comes from behind you, soft and rhythmic. The whir of tires on wet pavement, the faint creak of a frame shifting under weight. You do not turn. You stay facing the water and the bicycle rolls past you, slow and unhurried. You hear the rider's breath, quiet and steady, and the rustle of fabric as they move. The bicycle descends the far side of the bridge and the sound fades, and then it is gone and you are alone again. You descend the bridge and continue walking. The street here runs very close to the water. There is no railing, only a low stone curb, and beyond it the canal. You walk along the edge and you feel the openness to your right, the absence of barrier, the dark expanse of water just a step away. You do not walk carelessly. You are aware of the edge of the line between pavement and water and you stay just inside it. You pass another houseboat. This one is smaller, painted white or perhaps gray. It is hard to tell. A single window glows amber, and inside you see a lamp on a table, a chair pushed back as though someone has just risen from it. A cup sits beside the lamp, steam rising faintly from it, visible only because of the light behind. You imagine the person who lives there, who boiled water, who poured it, who is perhaps now standing just out of sight, looking out at the same night you are walking through. You keep walking and the houseboat slips behind you. The canal bends again, more sharply this time, and the street bends with it. You follow the curve, and as you turn, you see the same view you have seen a dozen times tonight. Water, light, reflections, the dark shapes of buildings leaning close. But it is not the same. The angle has changed. The light falls differently. The air is colder now, or maybe you are simply more aware of it. You stop at the railing again in a new place that feels like the same place, and you look down. The water is perfectly still here. Not a ripple, not a tremor. It lies flat and heavy, and the reflections are almost sharp, almost, but not quite. You see the lamp above you mirrored below, and you see the outline of your own head and shoulders, a dark shape leaning over the railing, and you see the faint glow of a window across the canal, doubled in the water, hanging upside down in the black-green depths. You stay there for a long time. You do not count the minutes. You do not think about time at all. You only stand and breathe and watch the water hold the world in its dark mirror. Your hands grow numb on the railing, and you shift your weight from one foot to the other, and still you do not move away. A mist is rising now. You see it first at the far end of the canal, where the water disappears around a bend. It is barely visible, just a softness in the air, a blurring of the edges of things. But it is moving toward you, slowly, drifting along the surface of the water like breath made visible. You watch it come, and it fills the space between the canal walls, rising just above the waterline, soft and formless. The mist reaches you, and you feel it on your face, cool and damp, clinging to your skin, to your eyelashes. You close your eyes and let it settle there, and when you open them, the world is softer. The lamps glow through the mist, haloed and diffuse. The buildings are suggestions now, dark masses barely distinguishable from the sky. You step back from the railing and continue walking. The mist thickens as you move deeper into the night. It does not obscure your vision, not entirely, but it transforms everything it touches. The street lamps become spheres of soft light, floating in the air without source or anchor. The canal becomes a presence you feel more than see, a coolness, a sound, a weight pressing against the edge of the street. The houses retreat into shadow, their windows glowing like embers in the fog. You pass a bench and you stop. It is a simple bench, wooden slats painted green, set back slightly from the canal's edge. You sit down slowly, and the wood is cold and damp through your coat. You rest your hands on your knees and you sit very still, looking out at the mist-softened water. From here you can see a single street lamp on the far side of the canal. Its light filters through the mist, soft and golden, and it illuminates nothing clearly, only itself, only the space immediately around it. Everything else's gradation is fade, is the slow dissolve of form into formlessness. You hear water lapping against stone somewhere near. The sound is gentle, rhythmic, like breathing. You hear the creak of a houseboat shifting in its mooring. You hear very faintly the hum of a car passing on a street far away, and then the hum fades and there is only the water, the mist, the night. You sit on the bench and time moves differently here. Minutes might pass or hours. You cannot tell. The night does not change. It only deepens, folds in on itself, becomes more of what it already is. You feel the coldness seeping into your body, into your legs, your back, your hands. You feel your breath slowing, your heartbeat settling into a rhythm that matches the lap of water, the creak of wood, the patient stillness of the city around you. Eventually, you stand. Your legs are stiff, and you move slowly, stretching, feeling the blood return. You turn away from the bench and walk back to the canal's edge, back to the railing, and you look down one more time. The mist has thinned slightly, or perhaps your eyes have adjusted. You can see the water more clearly now, the way it holds the light, the way it moves in slow, invisible currents. You see a piece of wood drifting past, a stick or a fragment of something larger, turning slowly as it floats, carried by forces you cannot see. You watch it until it disappears into the mist. You turn and begin walking again, and the canal stays beside you, faithful and unchanging. You cross another bridge and another, and each time you pause at the top, looking back, looking forward, seeing the same shapes repeated endlessly. Water, light, stone, mist. The night is thinning now. You feel it more than see it, a subtle shift in the air, a faint lightening at the edges of the sky. The darkness is no longer absolute. It is becoming something softer, something that holds the memory of light even as it waits for light to return. The mist is lifting slowly, pulling back from the canal, retreating into the air. The street lamps seem dimmer now, though they have not changed. They are simply competing with something new, something that has not yet arrived but is already felt. The coming dawn, still an hour away, maybe more, but present in the way the night loosens its hold. You walk more slowly now, if that is even possible. Your body is heavy with the weight of wakefulness, with the hours spent moving through the dark. Your eyes are tired and you blink often, and each time you open them, the world reassembles itself. Canal, lamp, bridge, mist. You return to the water's edge one last time. You rest your hands on the railing, and the metal is so cold now it almost burns. You look down at the water and it is still black, still holding its secrets, but the reflections are softer now, less insistent. The lamps glow faintly, their light spread thin across the surface. You stand there in the deep hush of pre-dawn, and you do not think. You do not plan. You only exist here at the edge of water and night, waiting for nothing, expecting nothing. The city breathes around you, slow and vast and quiet, and you breathe with it. The darkness is no longer complete. You cannot say when it changed. Perhaps it was while you stood at the last bridge, or while you walked the length of the last street. But now, as you look toward the eastern sky, though you cannot see the horizon, only the space between rooftops, you sense a difference. The black has softened into something else. Not gray, not yet, but something waiting to become gray. A promise of change held in the air itself. The fog is thicker now. It sits low over the canal, a layer of pale opacity that hovers just above the water's surface. It does not rise. It does not fall. It simply exists there, suspended, as though the canal is exhaling, slowly and endlessly, turning its own breath visible. You walk along the edge, and the fog moves with you, or seems to. It shifts in slow currents you cannot see, revealing and concealing the water beneath in drifting patterns. The strut lamps are still lit, but their light has changed. It no longer defines the darkness. Instead, it competes with something subtler, something that has no source but is everywhere. The faint luminosity that comes before dawn, the light that exists without sun, without moon, without origin. The lamps glow pale and tired now, like candles burning down to their last hour. You come to a low stone wall and you stop. The wall runs along the canal's edge, waist-high, built of the same dark brick as the houses. Its top is flat and wide enough to sit on, and you turn and lower yourself onto it slowly, feeling the coldness of the stone through your coat, through your clothes, pressing into your legs, your hips. You settle there, and you let your feet dangle, and you face the water. From here, you can see a long stretch of canal. It runs straight for perhaps 50 meters before curving gently out of sight. The fog obscures the far end, turns it into suggestion. into the idea of distance without the certainty of it. On either side, the buildings rise dark and silent, their windows mostly black now. The few that still glow seem like afterthoughts, like forgotten lights left burning through the night. You sit very still and you watch. The fog drifts slowly from right to left, moving along the canal's length. You cannot feel wind, but something is moving it, some imperceptible current in the air, some gentle flow that carries the mist like silk pulled across a surface. Beneath it, the water is barely visible, just glimpses of black-green when the fog thins, and then it is hidden again. You hear a sound, faint, distant, rhythmic. It takes you a moment to place it. Oars. Someone is rowing, somewhere far along the canal, beyond the curve, beyond sight. You hear the dip and pull, the soft splash, the creak of wood against wood. The sound grows neither louder nor softer. It simply exists constant, and then it begins to fade, and then it is gone, absorbed into the fog or carried away by distance. The silence that follows is deeper than before. You rest your hands on the stone beside you, palms flat, and you feel the cold seeping into your skin. Your fingers are stiff, and you flex them slowly, one at a time, feeling the joints resist and then yield. You are cold now, deeply cold, the kind that has settled into your bones over hours of slow walking through the damp night. But it is not unpleasant. It is simply a fact, something your body acknowledges without complaint. You watch the canal, and slowly, so slowly you almost do not notice, it begins to change. The darkness is lifting, not everywhere at once, not dramatically, but in degrees so subtle they require patience to perceive. The fog, which was formless and uniform, begins to show variation, some parts denser, some parts lighter, some parts touched by a faint luminosity that was not there before. The water beneath, when you catch glimpses of it, is no longer pure black. It is becoming something else. Charcoal, perhaps, deep grug-run, the color of stone in shadow. The buildings across the canal are emerging from the night. You see their shapes first, the vertical lines of their facades, the horizontal breaks of their roof lines. Then you see details, the stepped gables, the window frames, the texture of brick becoming visible as texture rather than just mass. The colors are still muted, drained of warmth, but they are colors now, rust and ukka and deep brown, all washed in the pale light of coming dawn. You look up at the sky. It is no longer black. It is deep blugra, darkest directly above you, lightening toward the east. There are no stars. There is no moon. Only this vast expanse of color, shifting so gradually that if you look away and look back, you cannot be certain it has changed at all. But it has. It is. A window across the canal glows suddenly brighter. Someone has turned on a lamp or opened curtains to let light spill out. You see the yellow square appear against the gruff facade, and it seems almost violent in its warmth, almost intrusive. But then your eyes adjust, and it becomes part of the scene, another small piece of life beginning its day. You shift your weight on the wall, and the stone creaks faintly beneath you. Your legs are numb now, and you bend one knee then the other, bringing feeling back slowly. You do not stand. Not yet. The fog is thinning. You watch it happen, layer by layer, as the growing light dissolves it from above. The top of the fog begins to glow, touched by a brightness that has not yet reached the street, the water, the buildings. It looks almost solid in that moment, a pale blanket hovering over the canal, glowing softly from within. And then it begins to pull apart, to rise, to dissipate into the air, and the water beneath is revealed. The canal is grun now, a smooth surface reflecting the grey sky. The reflections of buildings appear, faint and wavering, and you see the vertical lines doubled, the world above meeting the world below in a seam that trembles but does not break. The light grows. It is still pale, still cool, but it is light. You can see the cobblestones now, each one distinct, wet and dark and fitted close together. You can see the railings along the canal's edge, the iron bars painted black, the places where rust has bloomed through. You can see the trees, bare and thin, their branches reaching across the water in intricate patterns you could not see in darkness. A bicycle appears at the far end of the street. You see it emerge from the fog like a ghost becoming solid. The rider is hunched against the cold, shoulders raised, head down. They pedal slowly, steadily, and the bike makes no sound, or if it does, the distance swallows it. You watch them approach, growing clearer with each rotation of the wheels, and they pass you without looking up, without acknowledging your presence on the wall. The bike is black, the rider's coat is dark blue, and they continue down the street, along the canal, and disappear around the bend. You are alone again, but the city is waking around you. You hear sounds now distant, scattered, tentative. A door closing somewhere, the faint hum of a motor starting, footsteps on a side street, quick and purposeful, the clatter of something metal, perhaps a trash bin, perhaps shutters being opened. These sounds do not break the stillness. They punctuate it gently like drops of water falling into a still pool. The sky continues to brighten. The deep blue-grey is becoming lighter, softer, infused with a hint of warmth that was not there minutes ago. The eastern horizon, or what you can see of it between buildings, is beginning to glow. Not pink, not orange, but a pale, luminous grey that suggests the sun is rising somewhere beyond the city, beyond sight, and its light is arriving in waves, slow and patient. You look at the water. It has changed completely now. It is no longer dark, no longer mysterious. It is simply a canal, grey-grun and calm, holding reflections that are clearer than they were in darkness. You see the buildings mirrored there, the windows, the gables, the thin trees. You see the sky reflected, pale and vast. You see your own shape, small and dark, sitting on the wall, legs dangling, alone at the edge of morning. A boat appears. It comes from the left, moving slowly, its engine a low rumble that carries across the still air. It is a long, flat boat, industrial, with a tarp covering something in its center, cargo perhaps, or equipment. The pilot stands at the rear, one hand on the tiller, motionless as stone. The boat moves through the water without wake, or with a wake so faint you barely see it, just a gentle disturbance, a widening V that spreads toward the canal walls and dies there. You watch the boat pass directly in front of you. The pilot does not look at you. His gaze is fixed ahead on the canal, on the path he knows by heart. The boat slides by, slow and steady, and you hear the chug of the engine, smell the faint diesel exhaust, see the water ripple in its wake. And then it is past, moving away, growing smaller, and the sound fades and the water smooths itself again. You realize you are waiting for something, though you do not know what. Perhaps for the sun to rise fully. Perhaps for the city to wake completely. Perhaps for nothing at all. You sit on the wall and you wait, and the light grows around you, minute by minute, so slowly that waiting and not waiting are the same thing. Another window lights up across the canal, and another. The buildings are waking, room by room, floor by floor. You see a shadow move across a curtain, someone walking through a hallway, someone beginning their day. You see a window open just slightly, and a hand reaches out to adjust a shutter and then withdraws and the window closes again. The fog is gone now, or nearly gone. Just a few wisps remain, clinging to the surface of the water in the shadowed places in the spaces beneath bridges. The air is clearer, sharper, and the cold feels different now. Less dense, less heavy, but deeper somehow, more penetrating. You slide down from the wall. Your feet touch the cobblestones, and the impact sends a dull ache through your legs. You stand still for a moment, letting blood flow, letting sensation return. Your body is stiff and cold and tired, and you feel the full weight of the night you have walked through. But you do not feel weak. You feel present, awake, alive. You turn and begin walking again. The canal stays beside you and the light continues to grow, and the city unfolds around you in shades of gray and rust and pale gold. The street lamps, still lit, are faint now, barely visible. Soon they will turn off, or perhaps they already have and you simply have not noticed. You pass a houseboat and you see a curl of smoke rising from a small chimney. Someone inside is lighting a fire or making tea or simply beginning the day in the oldest, simplest ways. The smoke rises straight up in the still air, a thin gray line against the pale sky, and then it disperses, dissolves, becomes part of the morning. The street curves and you follow it. The buildings here are washed in soft light now, light that comes from everywhere and nowhere, diffuse and even. The bricks glow faintly, their colors muted but present: terracotta, cream, dusty rose, charcoal. The windows reflect the brightening sky. The doors are closed and still, waiting to be opened. You feel hunger, faint but insistent. Not the hollow emptiness of hours ago, but something warmer, something that asks gently to be answered. You think of bread again, of warmth, of a table near a window. You think of coffee, steam rising from a cup, the bitter warmth of it spreading through your chest. You walk a little faster now, not hurrying but with intention. The morning is forming around you, solidifying, becoming real. The city is breathing itself awake, and you are part of that breath, moving through its streets, following its canals, drifting toward the next quiet moment. You turn a corner and you smell it before you see it. Bread, warm and yeasty, carried on the cool morning air. The scent wraps around you and you follow it without thinking, letting it guide you down a narrow side street, past a row of bicycles leaning against a railing, toward a small shop front whose windows glow amber in the gray light. The bakery. It is narrow, just a single door and two windows, framed in dark wood. Through the glass you see shelves lined with bread, round loaves, long loaves, braided loaves dusted with flour. You see pastries arranged on trays, golden and glazed, their surfaces catching the light. You see the edge of a counter and behind it movement, someone working, their shape blurred by the condensation on the glass. You reach for the door and it opens with a soft chime. The warmth inside touches your face immediately, your hands, your chest. It is not overwhelming, not stifling, but a gentle enveloping heat that smells of sugar and butter and dough rising and baking and cooling. You step inside and the door closes behind you, and the street fades into something distant, something separate from this small, bright space. The floor is tiled in black and white squares, worn smooth at the center. The walls are painted pale cream and shelves line them, holding baskets of bread, jars of jam, small bottles of honey with hand-written labels. The counter runs along the left side, wood polished dark with age, and behind it the shelves continue, rising to the ceiling, crowded with loaves and rolls and things wrapped in paper. There are two people ahead of you. An older man in a gray coat, holding a folded newspaper under one arm. A woman with a canvas bag over her shoulder, speaking quietly to the person behind the counter. You wait near the door, not crowding them, and you let your gaze drift over the pastries displayed under glass on the counter. You see rounds of dough topped with almond paste and pearl sugar. You see crescents, golden and flaky, their layers visible at the edges. You see small cakes dusted with powdered sugar, and tarts filled with something dark, apple perhaps, or plum. You see cookies stacked neatly, each one marked with the imprint of a fork, and squares of something dense and brown, studded with nuts. The man pays, takes his bread wrapped in paper, and nods once to the person behind the counter. He turns, and as he passes you, he nods again. A small dip of his chin, polite, acknowledging your shared presence in this small, warm space. You nod back and he leaves, and the chime sounds again, soft and brief. The woman finishes her order and steps aside, and you move forward to the counter. Behind it stands a young woman, perhaps 30, with dark hair pulled into a bun and flour dusted across her apron. Her face is calm, patient, and she looks at you with eyes that are neither warm nor cold, only present. She says something, a greeting, a question, and you hear the rhythm of it but do not catch every word. You look at the pastries again and you point to one of the crescents. She nods and reaches for a sheet of paper, thin and semi-transparent, and she lifts the crescent with metal tongs carefully and wraps it. You point to a loaf of bread, small and round, dark brown, and she wraps that as well. You say the word for coffee or something close to it, and she nods again and turns to a machine behind her. You hear the hiss of steam, the clatter of metal on metal, the low gurgle of liquid pouring. She sets a cup on the counter, white ceramic, thick-walled, filled with coffee so dark it is nearly black. You reach into your pocket for coins and you count them into your palm. She tells you the amount and you place the coins on the counter, and she sweeps them toward herself and drops them into a drawer. She slides the wrapped pastry and bread toward you, and you take them, and you take the cup and you turn. There is a small table near the window, just large enough for one person, or two if they sit close. A single chair, wooden with a curved back. You set the cup and the wrapped food on the table and you sit, and the chair creaks faintly under your weight. You settle yourself and you look out the window. The street is quiet still but beginning to wake. A bicycle passes, slow and steady, the rider bundled in a dark coat and scarf. Another follows a moment later, and another. They move in silence or near silence, just the soft hum of tires on wet cobblestones. Across the street, the canal reflects the pale morning sky, flat and smooth as glass. You unwrap the crescent. The paper crinkles softly and the pastry inside is warm, still faintly warm from the oven. You lift it and feel the weight of it, the layers compressed and yet separate, delicate. You bring it to your nose and smell butter, butter above all else, rich and pure. You take a bite. The exterior is crisp, shattering gently under your teeth, and the inside is soft, almost molten, each layer pulling apart in thin sheets. The flavor is simple butter and flour and a hint of salt, but it is perfect in its simplicity. You chew slowly, letting the pastry dissolve on your tongue, and you swallow and you take another bite. You set the crescent down and reach for the coffee. The cup is hot in your hands and you hold it for a moment, letting the heat seep into your palms, your fingers. You lift it and sip carefully. The coffee is strong and bitter with no sweetness, no milk. It is dark and clean and wakeful, and it cuts through the richness of the pastry, balancing it. You drink slowly, feeling the warmth travel down your throat into your chest, spreading outward. Outside, the light continues to grow. The gray sky is brightening, almost imperceptibly, and the colors of the buildings across the canal are becoming richer. The rust of brick, the cream of painted wood, the green of a door. The water holds these colors now, reflecting them with more clarity than it did in darkness. You see a bird, a gull perhaps, land on the railing across the canal, folding its wings, settling there to watch the water. You return to the crescent, eating slowly, taking small bites, pausing between each one to drink coffee, to look out the window, to simply sit. You are aware of the warmth of the bakery around you, the faint sounds of the woman behind the counter moving, arranging, working. You are aware of the coolness of the glass near your shoulder, separating you from the morning outside. You are aware of your own body, tired and heavy and grateful for this chair, this table, this moment of rest. Another customer enters, the chime sounding again. You do not turn to look. You only hear the murmur of voices, the transaction, the rustle of paper. The door opens and closes, and the chime sounds, and you are alone with the woman behind the counter again. You finish the crescent and unwrap the bread. It is dense and dark, and when you break it in half, you see the interior is tight and moist, flecked with seeds, sesame, maybe, or sunflower. You take a bite, and the texture is firm, requiring effort to chew, and the flavor is deep and slightly sour, the taste of fermentation of time. You eat half of it slowly, and you drink the last of the coffee, and you feel the fullness settling into your stomach, warm and solid. You sit back in the chair and rest your hands on the table. You do not hurry. There is no reason to hurry. The morning stretches ahead, vast and unhurried, and you are content to sit here in this small, warm space, watching the street, the canal, the lights slowly claiming the city. A man passes outside the window, walking a small dog on a leash. The dog stops to sniff the base of a lamppost, and the man waits patient, his gaze distant. They move on, and you watch them until they disappear around the corner. You look down at the bread, the half that remains, wrapped loosely in paper. You fold the paper over it carefully, and you tuck it into your pocket. You stand slowly, feeling the stiffness in your legs, your back, and you lift the empty cup. You carry it to the counter. The woman looks up as you approach, and you set the cup down gently. She nods, a small acknowledgement, and you nod back. No words are exchanged. None are needed. You turn toward the door, and she returns to her work, and you push the door open and step outside. The air is cooler now, sharper, after the warmth of the bakery. You stand on the pavement for a moment, adjusting, and you breathe in deeply. The smell of bread still clings to your clothes, your hands, and you carry it with you as you begin walking again. The canal is on your left, and the buildings rise on your right, and the morning is fully here now, pale and soft and quiet. The street lamps have turned off, or you simply do not notice them anymore. The light is natural now, diffuse and even, coming from the sky itself. You walk slowly, without direction, letting the street guide you. The bicycles pass more frequently now, a steady stream of them, their riders silent and purposeful. You see shopkeepers unlocking doors, lifting shutters, sweeping steps. You see windows opening on upper floors, curtains pulled back to let in the light. The city is awake, but it is not loud. It is gentle. It moves with the same patience you have carried through the night. You turn down a narrower street, away from the canal, and the buildings press close on either side. You see a small archway ahead, and through it, a glimpse of green leaves, branches, something growing. You walk toward it, drawn by the color, by the promise of stillness, and the city folds around you, guiding you deeper into its morning heart. You pass through the archway, and the city falls away. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but as you step from the narrow street into the space beyond, something shifts. The sounds of the morning, the bicycles, the distant voices, the hum of the waking city do not disappear, but they soften, recede, as though filtered through layers of stillness. You stand just inside the archway and you pause, letting your eyes adjust, letting your body understand where you are. A courtyard. It is not large, but it feels vast in its quietness. The space is enclosed on all sides by buildings, narrow houses with steep gables and small windows, their facades painted in muted colors that have faded over time into whispers of what they once were. Pale yellow, soft gray, a green so worn it is almost white. The buildings lean slightly, as old buildings do, and they look inward toward the courtyard as though protecting it or simply observing it in silence. The ground is paved with flat stones, irregular and fitted close together. They are smooth and dark with age, worn in paths that curve across the courtyard, connecting doorways leading nowhere in particular. Between the stones, in the cracks and gaps, you see moss growing, bright green and soft, the only vivid color in this place of muted tones. You step forward and your footsteps make almost no sound. The air here is different, cooler somehow despite the shelter, heavier. It carries the scent of damp stone and old wood and something faintly floral, not flowers blooming, but the memory of flowers, the residue of petals that fell long ago and were pressed into the earth. You breathe it in, and it fills your lungs with a stillness that matches the space around you. There are trees scattered throughout the courtyard, not many, perhaps 4 or 5. They are bare now, or nearly bare, their branches thin and dark against the pale sky. The trunks are narrow and twisted slightly, as though they have grown slowly, patiently, decades or centuries. You cannot tell their age. You only know they belong here, that they have always been here or might as well have been. You walk slowly toward the center of the courtyard. There is a small patch of grass there, bordered by low hedges trimmed into neat lines. The grass is dull green, dormant for winter and damp with dew or mist. You stop at its edge and look across it, and you see a bench, wooden, simple, its slats weathered gray. No one sits there. No one is here at all as far as you can see. You turn slowly, taking in the space. The windows of the surrounding houses are small and dark. Most are curtained, the fabric drawn closed, hiding whatever lives unfold within. But a few are bare, and through them you see the suggestion of interiors. A wall painted pale blue, a shelf with books, the edge of a table. These glimpses are brief and partial, and they do not invite you in. They simply exist quietly behind glass. One doorway stands open just slightly. It is painted dark green, or perhaps it was once a brighter green and has faded. The door is ajar by a few inches, and through the gap you see darkness, a hallway perhaps, or a small entryway. You do not approach. You only notice, and then you look away. You hear a sound, faint, rhythmic. It takes a moment to place it. Sweeping. Someone is sweeping somewhere out of sight, perhaps behind one of the houses or inside one of the doorways. The soft scrape of bristles against stone, over and over, steady and unhurried. The sound is soothing, meditative, and you listen to it without trying to see its source. You walk toward one of the trees and stop beneath it. The branches reach overhead, bare and intricate, crossing and recrossing in patterns that seem both random and intentional. You look up through them at the sky, and the pale gray light filters down, broken into pieces by the dark lines of wood. A single leaf clings to one branch, brown and curled, trembling faintly though you feel no wind. You lower your gaze and rest your hand on the trunk. The bark is rough under your palm, deeply textured, with ridges and valleys that catch the light and shadow. It is cool and slightly damp, and you feel the solidity of it, the weight of the tree rooted deep into the earth beneath the courtyard. You stand there, hand on bark, and you feel your own stillness mirroring the stillness around you. The sweeping stops. The silence that follows is complete, or nearly so. You hear very faintly the distant sound of a bicycle bell, two soft chimes far away beyond the walls. You hear the rustle of leaves, or perhaps it is only the sound of your own breath. You hear nothing else. You step away from the tree and continue walking. There is a narrow path that leads along the edge of the courtyard, close to the buildings. You follow it and you pass doorways, some painted, some bare wood. You pass windows set low, just above ground level, their sills lined with small pots, empty now, waiting for spring. You pass a drain pipe, green with oxidation, and you see water stains on the wall beneath it, dark streaks that have soaked into the plaster over years of rain. You come to a corner where two buildings meet at an angle, and there you find a small wooden bench built into the wall. It is simple, just a plank of wood supported by iron brackets, and it looks as though it has been there forever or might remain there forever. You sit. The wood is cold and hard beneath you, and you feel it through your coat, through your clothes. You do not mind. You settle yourself and rest your hands on your knees, and you look out across the courtyard. From here you can see the entire space, the patch of grass, the trees, the surrounding houses with their closed curtains and muted facades. You can see the archway through which you entered, a dark rectangle framing the street beyond, where life continues, where the city moves. But here in this enclosed space, time moves differently. Slowly, gently, or perhaps it does not move at all. You sit and you do nothing. You do not think about where you will go next. You do not think about the hours you have walked, the night you have passed through. You do not think about anything at all. You simply sit and breathe and exist in this pocket of silence. A bird lands on the grass, small, brown, with a pale breast. It hops twice, pecks at the ground, finds nothing, and hops again. You watch it without moving, and it does not notice you or does not care. It continues its search, methodical and patient, and then it lifts into the air with a flutter of wings and disappears over the rooftop. You close your eyes. The darkness behind your eyelids is soft and warm, and you feel the weight of your body pressing into the bench, the coldness of the wood, the stillness of the air on your face. You hear your own heartbeat, slow and steady, and you hear the faint rustle of something nearby, a leaf, a piece of paper, something moved by a breeze you cannot feel. You open your eyes. The courtyard has not changed. The light is the same. The trees stand where they stood. The houses watch in silence. But something in you has shifted, settled, as though you have been held by this place and gently released. You stand slowly and you begin walking again. You follow the path around the edge of the courtyard, past more doorways, more windows, until you come to another archway on the far side. This one is narrower than the first, and it leads into a passage between buildings, a tunnel of old brick lit dimly by the gray light at the far end. You step into the passage. The walls press close on either side, and the ceiling is low, formed by the underside of the building above. Your footsteps echo faintly here, a soft, hollow sound that repeats and fades. The air is cooler, damper, and you smell stone and age and the faint mustiness of places that sunlight rarely touches. You walk through the passage and it curves gently to the right, and then you see the opening ahead, a rectangle of pale light, the world beyond. You step out and the city receives you again. The street here is wider, brighter. The buildings are taller, their facades more colorful, red brick, white trim. Windows that catch the morning light and reflect it back. The sound returns gradually, bicycles passing, footsteps, a distant conversation, the low rumble of a tram somewhere nearby. The city is fully awake now, moving through its morning rhythms, and you are part of it again. But you carry the courtyard with you. The stillness of it, the quiet, the sensation of time slowing to match your breath. It sits inside you, a small pocket of calm as you begin walking along the street. You turn left, following the flow of bicycles, and the street curves gently, leading you past shops beginning to open, past cafes setting chairs outside, past windows displaying things you do not stop to examine. You walk without urgency, letting the city unfold around you. The buildings begin to lower and the street widens further. You see trees ahead, more than before, larger, their branches arching over the street. You see green between the buildings, the suggestion of open space, and you move toward it, drawn by the openness, by the promise of sky. The courtyard fades behind you, but its stillness remains, gentle and patient, as you drift toward the next quiet place. You cross a street, and the city opens. The buildings fall away on either side, and ahead you see trees, many trees, their trunks dark and their branches reaching bare into the sky. Beyond them, paths curve and disappear, and the ground is no longer stone but earth and grass, damp and soft. You step from the pavement onto a path of packed dirt, and the change is immediate. The hardness beneath your feet gives way to something gentler, something that absorbs your steps rather than echoing them back. You have entered the park. The path is wide enough for several people to walk side by side, but you are alone or nearly alone. Ahead you see a figure moving away from you, someone walking slowly, hands in pockets, shoulders hunched against the cool air. They are too far away to see clearly, just a shape, a silhouette, and they do not turn. You do not try to catch up. You simply walk at your own pace, and the distance between you remains constant. The trees line the path on both sides, standing tall and patient. They are bare now, their branches forming intricate webs against the pale sky. The trunks are thick and dark, some smooth, some deeply textured with bark that has cracked and peeled over. Seasons. You pass close to one and see the patterns in the bark, vertical ridges, horizontal splits, places where the tree has healed itself, grown around old wounds. The air here is different from the streets. It is cooler, cleaner, as though filtered through all these branches, all these leaves that are no longer here but whose absence still shapes the space. You breathe deeply, and you taste earth and damp grass and the faint mineral scent of water somewhere nearby. The sounds of the city have not disappeared. You hear the distant hum of traffic, the occasional bell of a bicycle, but they are softened, muted, held at a distance by the trees. You come to a bench and you stop. It is set back from the path just a few meters, facing a small clearing where the grass is flat and open. The bench is wooden, painted green, though the paint is chipped and faded in places, showing gray wood beneath. You sit and the wood is cold and slightly damp, and you settle yourself, resting your hands on your thighs, and you look out. The clearing is empty, just grass, pale and dormant, scattered with fallen leaves that are brown and brittle. A few small birds hop across it, pecking at the ground, their movements quick and erratic. They find something or find nothing, and they lift into the air and vanish into the branches above. You sit and you watch, and you do nothing else. A cyclist passes on the path behind you. You hear the soft whir of tires, the faint creak of a frame, and then the sound fades. Another follows, and another, spaced minutes apart. They do not stop. They are going somewhere or coming from somewhere, and you are not. You are here on this bench in this moment, and that is enough. The sky above is gray but not uniform. You see variations, lighter patches, darker patches, the suggestion of clouds layered one over another. As you watch, one of the lighter patches drifts across the space directly above you, and for a moment the light brightens. Not dramatically, not warmly, but the gray becomes paler, almost white, and the shadows on the ground soften and the trees seem less stark against the sky. And then the brightness passes and the gray returns, deeper than before. You stand slowly and you continue walking. The path curves to the right, following the natural shape of the land. You follow it and the trees shift around you, rearranging themselves in your vision as you move. You see glimpses of water through the branches, a pond or a canal running through the park. The surface is gray and still, reflecting nothing clearly, just the vague impression of sky and trees. You come to a bridge, low and wooden, arching over a narrow channel of water. You step onto it and the boards creak softly beneath your weight. At the center, you stop and lean on the railing. The water below is dark green, nearly black in places, and it moves slowly, almost imperceptibly, from left to right. You see leaves floating on the surface, turning slowly as they drift. You see the reflection of the railing, wavering and broken by the faint current. You see just beneath the surface the shadow of something, a fish perhaps, or a submerged branch, and then it is gone and you are not sure it was ever there. You stay on the bridge for a long time. You rest your weight on the railing and you watch the water and you let your mind empty. The thoughts that have carried you through the night, the observations, the noticing, the gentle cataloging of details begin to dissolve. You are not thinking. You are only here looking down at dark water, breathing cool air, existing. A voice calls out, somewhere distant. A child, perhaps, or someone calling a dog. The sound is faint and brief, and it does not reach you fully. It simply passes through the air, a ripple in the stillness, and then it is gone. You push yourself away from the railing and continue across the bridge. On the far side, the path splits. One way curves left, deeper into the trees. The other bends right, toward open grass. You choose the right without thinking, and the trees thin around you, and the sky grows larger overhead. The grass here stretches wide and flat, broken only by scattered trees and the paths that curve across it. You see people now more than before, figures scattered across the space, some walking, some sitting on benches, some standing and looking at nothing in particular. They are far away and you cannot see their faces, cannot hear their voices. They are simply presences sharing this space with you, alone together in the morning. You walk along the edge of the grass where the path runs close to a row of trees. The ground beneath is soft, and you hear the faint squelch of mud beneath your shoes. Step carefully, avoiding the deepest puddles, though you do not mind the damp. It is part of this place, part of the morning. Another bench appears and you sit again. From here you can see a long stretch of the park, the open grass, the paths crossing it, the clusters of trees rising like islands. The sky above is vast, unbroken by buildings, and you feel the weight of it, the openness, the space that has no ceiling. You lean back against the bench and look up. The clouds are moving, you realize. Slowly, so slowly you have to watch for several minutes to be certain. They drift from west to east, their edges blurred and soft, and they shift shape as they move, pulling apart and reforming, endless and patient. The light changes again. A brighter patch of sky moves overhead and the light strengthens. Not into sunlight, the sun remains hidden, but into something closer to brightness, a pale luminosity that touches the grass, the trees, the path. The world sharpens slightly. Colors become clearer. The green of the grass, though muted, the brown of the tree trunks, the gray-blue of the path. Shadows appear faint and soft, cast by nothing you can see. You close your eyes and lift your face toward the light. You feel it on your skin, cool but present, and you feel the faint warmth that comes with it, not heat but the suggestion of heat, the memory of summer held in winter light. You sit like this, eyes closed, face lifted, and you breathe. The brightness fades. You open your eyes and the gray has returned, heavier now. The shadows disappear. The colors dull. The sky presses lower, closer, and the air feels denser, heavier with moisture. You think it might rain, but it does not. The clouds only thicken, and the light dims, and the park settles into a softer, quieter version of itself. You stand and walk on. The path leads you past a pond, larger than the channel you crossed before. The water is still, a perfect mirror when the wind does not touch it. You see the sky reflected there, the gray expanse, the clouds layered and slow. You see the trees reflected upside down, their branches reaching into the depths. You see yourself, a dark shape at the water's edge, small and solitary. A duck glides across the surface, cutting through the reflections, leaving a V-shaped wake that spreads and fades. It reaches the far side and climbs onto the bank, shaking water from its feathers, and then it settles, tucking its head beneath a wing. You keep walking, and the path curves away from the pond back toward the trees. You follow it, and the park folds around you again, the open space giving way to the shelter of branches, the sky shrinking to glimpses between dark wood. You walk without counting steps, without measuring distance. You walk because walking is what you do, what you have been doing all night, all morning. Your body knows the rhythm now, the steady pace, the gentle effort. Your legs are tired, deeply tired, but they carry you still. The trees thin ahead, and you see buildings rising beyond them, tall, pale, formal. The edge of the park, the return to the city, but not yet, not quite yet. You find another bench, this one facing a small clearing where the path widens into a circle. You sit and you rest, and you watch the light shift and change, the clouds move, the morning deepen into something that is no longer morning but not yet afternoon. Time passes. You do not know how much. Enough. Enough to feel rested, enough to feel ready. You stand and you stretch, feeling your spine lengthen, your shoulders release. You take a deep breath and you begin walking again toward the edge of the park, toward the buildings that wait beyond the trees. The path leads you out gently, gradually, and the trees open and the city appears bright and solid and real. You step from the soft earth onto pavement, and the change is sharp, immediate, but not unwelcome. You have returned, and the park releases you, and ahead the city spreads open and wide. You walk toward the open space, and the city pulls back around you. The buildings on either side grow taller, more formal, their facades built of pale stone rather than brick. The street widens, the pavement smooth and broad, and ahead you see the end of it. Not an intersection, not another street, but an opening into vast emptiness. A space so wide you can see the sky stretching unbroken above it. You step out into Museumplein. The ground here is paved in long rectangular stones, gray and flat, arranged in precise geometry that extends in all directions. The space is enormous, bordered on all sides by buildings that stand back, respectful of the openness. To your right, a long, low structure of red brick rises formal and symmetrical, its roofline intricate with towers and gables. To your left, other buildings, modern, glass and concrete, clean lines and pale surfaces. But you do not look at them closely. You only sense them, framing the emptiness, defining it by their distance. You walk slowly into the center of the space. There are people scattered across it, small figures, separated by meters or tens of meters, moving slowly or standing still. A couple walks hand in hand, far to your left, their shapes small against the vastness. A man sits alone on a low stone ledge, his back to you, motionless. A child runs in wide circles, arms outstretched, and a voice calls after them. Soft, patient, too far away to hear the words. You stop walking and you stand. The ground beneath you is solid and even, and you feel the flatness of it, the way it offers no resistance, no variation. You look down and see the stones, gray and clean, with thin dark lines between them where water has pooled and dried, season after season. You look up and the sky is immense. It is still gray but lighter now, and the clouds are thinner, stretched across the expanse like fabric pulled taut. You can see layers within them, lighter and darker, drifting at different speeds, different heights. The light that filters through is pale and even, casting no shadows, making the space feel almost abstract, like a drawing made of only two colors, gray sky, gray stone. You begin walking again, crossing the open space diagonally. Your footsteps make almost no sound. The space absorbs them, or perhaps the wind carries them away. There is wind here, you realize. Not strong, but constant. A steady flow of air that moves across the open ground unimpeded. You feel it on your face, cool and damp, and it tugs gently at your coat, your hair. It carries the faint smell of rain, though it is not raining. Not yet. You walk toward the far edge of the square where a low building sits long and horizontal. As you approach, you see benches arranged along its front, simple concrete forms, and you choose one and sit. From here, you can see the entire space laid out before you. The geometry of it, the careful arrangement of stone and emptiness. The figures moving across it, small and solitary, each one absorbed in their own trajectory, their own moment. You watch a woman pushing a bicycle, walking slowly, the bike's wheels turning lazily beside her. You watch two people meet in the center of the space, embrace briefly and then separate, each continuing in opposite directions. The wind picks up slightly and you feel the first drop of rain. It touches your hand, cold and precise, a single point of contact. You look at your hand and see the small dark spot where the drop landed. Another touches your cheek, another your knee. You look up at the sky and it has not changed, but the rain is falling now, light and scattered, each drop separate, visible as a thin vertical line in the gray light. Around you, people respond. A woman pulls a hood over her head. A man opens an umbrella, black, wide, tilting against the wind. The child who was running stops and looks up, mouth open, catching raindrops on their tongue. Their guardian calls again, closer now, and they run toward them, laughing silently in the distance. The rain grows heavier, not a downpour, not even close, but steady now, consistent, each drop following the last in an endless rhythm. The stones around you darken as they absorb the water, turning from pale grey to charcoal. The surface becomes glossy, reflective, and you see the sky mirrored there, broken and trembling. You stand and move toward the overhang of the building behind you. There is a narrow shelter here a few meters deep, where the roof extends beyond the wall. You step beneath it and the rain stops touching you, though you hear it now more clearly. The soft patter of it striking stone, striking glass, striking fabric. You lean against the wall and you watch. The square is transforming. The rain smooths everything, softens every edge. The buildings around the perimeter blur slightly, their details obscured by the veil of falling water. The people become shapes, moving slowly beneath umbrellas or with shoulders hunched, their reflections stretching long and warped on the wet ground. The space feels larger now, emptier, as though the rain has cleared away some invisible clutter, leaving only the essential: stone, sky, water, movement. An umbrella passes close to you, red, bright against the grey. You see the person beneath it only as legs, as shoes stepping carefully to avoid the deepest puddles. They pass, and the red moves away, growing smaller, becoming just a dot of color, and then it turns a corner and disappears. You watch the rain fall. Each drop is visible for a moment as it descends, a thin silver line, and then it strikes the ground and disappears, absorbed instantly into the growing sheen of water. The puddles spread, merging, forming shallow pools in the low places between stones. You see rings forming where drops land in the puddles, perfect circles expanding outward, overlapping, creating patterns that shift and dissolve and reform endlessly. The light changes just slightly. The clouds thin in one place, and a brighter patch of sky appears, and the rain catches that brightness and seems to glow, each drop a tiny filament of light falling through grey space. The wet stones brighten too, reflecting more, and for a moment the square is luminous, shimmering, alive with water and light. And then the brightness fades and the grey returns, deeper than before. You hear a tram in the distance, its bell ringing twice, sharp and clear, cutting through the soft hush of rain. You hear a car passing on a nearby street, its tires hissing on wet pavement. You hear voices, muffled and indistinct, coming from somewhere you cannot see. The rain begins to light. You notice it gradually, the spaces between drops growing longer, the sound softening, the intensity easing. The falling lines become fewer, more scattered, and the puddles stop expanding. The glossy surface of the square remains, but the rain itself is fatting, pulling back into the sky. You step out from the shelter. The air is cooler now, washed clean, and you breathe it deeply. You look at the ground and see your reflection, vague and dark, wavering in the thin layer of water, and you watch it move as you move, mimicking your steps. You walk across the square again, and your shoes make soft splashing sounds with each step. The water is shallow, barely a film, but it clings to your soles and leaves dark footprints that fade almost immediately behind you. Around you, other people are emerging, moving again with more purpose, shaking water from umbrellas, adjusting coats. The child runs past you, arms still outstretched, splashing deliberately through every puddle. Their guardian follows at a distance, smiling, resigned, and you watch them until they reach the far edge of the square and disappear down a side street. You continue walking toward the opposite corner of the square, toward the streets that radiate away from this open center. The buildings grow closer again, the space contracts, and you feel the city reassembling around you, walls and windows and doorways, the geometry of streets and corners, the return to enclosure. You smell something, food, something warm and savory carried on the damp air. Onions maybe, bread, something frying. Your stomach responds, a quiet recognition of hunger, and you turn toward the scent, letting it guide you. The streets here are narrower, lined with shops and cafes and small restaurants. The buildings are lower, less formal, painted in warmer colors, ochre and terracotta and deep red. You see people sitting at tables behind steamed windows, see the glow of lamps even though it is still afternoon, see the small signs hanging above doorways in handwritten script. You walk slowly, following the scent, following the warmth, and the square falls away behind you, wide and empty and wet. The rain has stopped completely now, and the clouds are breaking apart, and the light is growing stronger, though the sun remains hidden. You move deeper into the neighborhood, and the city closes around you, welcoming you back into its narrow streets, its small bright spaces, its promise of warmth and rest. You walk through streets that narrow and soften, and the air begins to change. The formal weight of the museum district dissolves behind you, and the buildings here are smaller, closer, more lived in. The facades are painted in warm colors, rust and amber and faded rose, and the windows are larger, less guarded, some of them open despite the coolness. You see curtains stirring in the breeze and plants on sills, and the glow of lamps already lit against the dimming afternoon. The smell grows stronger as you walk. Not one smell, but many layered together. Bread baking, oil heating, fruit ripening, something sweet and caramelized, something savory and rich. The scents drift through the air, tangles of warmth, and you follow them without deciding to, drawn by the promise of sustenance, of comfort. You turn a corner and the street widens slightly, and you see the market ahead. Not the market itself, not yet, just the edges of it. Stalls line the sides of the street, their awnings faded stripes of green and white, red and yellow. The stalls are not crowded, not loud. People move between them slowly, carrying bags, pausing to look, to touch, to speak quietly with the vendors. The energy is calm, domestic, the rhythm of daily life rather than spectacle. You walk along the edge of the market, staying to the side, observing. You pass a stall piled with vegetables, cabbages round and pale, their outer leaves thick and veined. Carrots in loose bundles, their tops still attached, bright green and wilting slightly. Potatoes in rough wooden crates, their skins dusty and brown. The vendor stands behind the display, arms crossed, watching the street with patient eyes. He does not call out, he simply waits. You pass a fruit stall and here the colors are brighter. Apples stacked in pyramids, red, green, yellow, their skins glossy and perfect. Oranges piled loosely, their dimpled surfaces catching the light. Pears, soft brown, arranged in careful rows. A woman stands at the stall, lifting an apple, turning it in her hand, examining it closely before setting it down and choosing another. You pass a stall selling flowers, though there are not many, winter flowers, you suppose. Dark tulips in small bunches, their petals closed tight. Branches of greenery, their leaves waxy and deep. The vendor, an older woman in a thick wool coat, wraps a bundle in brown paper, ties it with twine, and hands it to a customer who nods and walks away, the flowers held close against her chest. The smells shift as you move deeper. You pass a stall with fish laid out on ice, silver bodies with glassy eyes, their scales catching fragments of light. The smell is sharp and clean salt and sea. You pass a cheese stall, wheels and wedges stacked behind glass, and the air here is rich and pungent, almost overwhelming. You do not stop. You keep walking, and then you smell it. Warmth, sugar, fat. You slow, and you follow the scent to a small stall set back slightly from the others. It is simple, just a cart with a flat metal surface heated from beneath, and a glass case holding trays of fried dough. The vendor is a man middle-aged, his hands quick and practiced. You watch as he lifts a piece of dough with tongs, places it on the hot surface, and it sizzles immediately, the sound soft and inviting. He flips it, dusts it with sugar, and places it on a square of paper. You step closer and you wait. There are 2 people ahead of you, and you stand patiently, watching the process. The dough is pale golden, irregular in shape, dusted thickly with powdered sugar that melts slightly where the dough is still hot. The vendor works steadily, without hurry, handing each piece to a customer with a brief nod, no words exchanged. Your turn comes. You point to the tray and the vendor nods. He lifts a piece, one of the larger ones, and sets it on the hot surface for a moment, warming it, and the smell intensifies, sweet and rich. He dusts it with sugar, wraps it loosely in paper, and hands it to you. You offer coins and he takes them, and you step aside, away from the stall, holding the warm package in both hands. You stand at the edge of the market, near a wall where the crowd does not pass, and you unwrap the paper slowly. The dough is still warm, and the powdered sugar has formed a thin crust on the surface. You lift it carefully and take a bite. The exterior is crisp, shattering gently, and the interior is soft, almost molten, with a faint yeasty flavor and a sweetness that is not cloying, just present like a memory of honey. You chew slowly, and the warmth spreads through your mouth, down your throat, and you feel it settle in your chest. You take another bite and another, standing still, watching the market move around you. A child runs past, chasing something you do not see. A man carries a crate of bottles stacked high, balanced carefully as he walks. A couple stands together at the vegetable stall, leaning close, speaking quietly, deciding. Life continues, unhurried, familiar, and you are part of it and separate from it, both at once. You finish the last bite and fold the paper carefully, tucking it into your pocket. Your fingers are sticky with sugar, and you wipe them on the paper first, then on your coat, and you stand there a moment longer, letting the warmth fade, letting the sweetness linger. You turn away from the market, back toward the quieter streets. The side streets here are narrow, residential, lined with small houses whose windows glow softly in the dimming light. The afternoon is fading now, sliding into evening, and the sky has deepened into a pale gray blue, darker at the edges, lighter where the sun is setting somewhere beyond the clouds. You cannot see the sun, but you feel its departure, the cooling of the air, the softening of the light, the way shadows begin to pool in doorways and beneath trees. You walk slowly, without destination, letting the streets guide you. You pass a small playground, empty now, its swings hanging still and silent. You pass a bicycle leaned against a railing, a basket on the front filled with groceries wrapped in paper. You pass a cat sitting on a windowsill, watching you with green eyes, unblinking, and then it turns away, uninterested. The streets curve and bend, and you follow them, and gradually you sense a change. The buildings thin. The air feels more open, cooler. You hear water, not the small canals you have walked beside all night, but something larger, something that moves. You turn a corner, and there it is. The river, wider than the canals. Its surface gray and ruffled by the breeze. It stretches away in both directions, bordered by low stone walls and paths that run along its length. On the far side, buildings rise, offices, apartments, their windows beginning to glow as lights come on inside. The sky above the river is vast, unbroken, and the light reflecting on the water is pale silver, wavering, shifting with the current. You walk toward the river's edge and you stop at the wall. The stone is cold under your hands, rougher than the canal railings, and you lean on it and look out. The water moves steadily, flowing from right to left, carrying small pieces of debris, leaves, twigs, a plastic bottle downstream. You watch them pass unhurried, and you think of all the water you have seen tonight in all its forms. Still canals, fog over water, rain pooling on stone. And now this, a river moving, patient, carrying everything toward the sea. To your right, a bridge appears, delicate, white, arching gracefully over the water. It is narrow, built for walking, and it seems almost fragile, as though it might lift away if the wind grew strong enough. You see its reflection in the river, doubled and wavering, and the two bridges, real and reflected, form a shape like an eye, watching the water flow through it. You do not cross the bridge. Not yet. You only stand at the river's edge, watching the light fade, feeling the cool air on your face and letting the day settle around you. The market is behind you, the morning is behind you, the night you walked through is behind you. But they are all still here, held within you, layered like the clouds above. You breathe in the river air and you rest, and you wait for the evening to deepen. You begin walking along the river, and the evening settles around you like a cloak. The path beside the water is smooth and wide, paved in stones that have darkened with the fading light. To your left, the river flows steady and unhurried, its surface rippling gently where the breeze touches it. To your right, the buildings stand quiet, their windows beginning to glow one by one, small squares of amber appearing in the deepening gray. You walk slowly, more slowly than you have walked all day, all night. Your legs are heavy now, deeply tired, and each step requires a small effort, a gentle insistence. But you do not stop, not yet. There is something ahead, something you sense more than see, pulling you forward with the softest gravity. The sky is changing. The gray that has held all day is deepening into something richer, blue-gray now, with hints of violet at the edges where the horizon would be if you could see it. The clouds have thinned, pulled apart by winds high above, and through the gaps you see patches of clearer sky, pale and luminous, holding the last memory of daylight. You pass a bench and you stop, not to sit, only to pause, to rest your hands on its back, to look out at the river. The water is darker now, charcoal and deep green, and the light that remains in the sky reflects on its surface in long streaks of silver blue. You watch the current, the way it pulls everything gently downstream, and you see a piece of wood drifting past. A branch, smooth and pale, turning slowly as it moves. You follow it with your eyes until it disappears beneath a bridge somewhere ahead. You lift your gaze to that bridge. It is small from here, delicate, spanning the river with an arch so graceful it seems almost weightless. Even at this distance, you can see its color, white or pale gray, glowing faintly against the darkening water. You cannot see details yet, but you sense its presence, its patience, waiting for you to arrive. You push away from the bench and continue walking. The buildings along the path are lower here, set back slightly, and between them you catch glimpses of side streets, narrow and dim, disappearing into the neighborhood beyond. You see bicycles chained to railings, their frames dark silhouettes. You see a door opening, light spilling out, and a figure stepping through, pausing to lock the door behind them before walking away into the dusk. The air is cooler now, noticeably cooler, and you feel it on your face, your hands seeping through your coat. You smell the river, water and stone, and something faintly organic, the scent of things growing and decaying at the water's edge. You smell wood smoke, distant, carried from a chimney somewhere unseen. You smell the faint metallic tang of the city itself, the accumulation of stone and metal and glass breathing together. The bridge grows closer. You see it more clearly now, a wooden bridge painted white, with railings that curve gently upward from the deck to the arch. Lights line both sides, small lanterns mounted on the railings, and they are beginning to glow, soft and yellow, not yet bright but already visible in the falling dusk. The bridge is narrow, built for walking, and you see a figure crossing it now, moving slowly from the far side toward you, their shape dark against the pale structure. You reach the bridge and you stop at its foot. You do not step onto it yet. You only stand there looking up at the arch, at the lights, at the way the bridge seems to float above the water, held by nothing but its own geometry. The wood is pale and smooth, and you can see the grain of it even in this light, the vertical lines running up the posts, the horizontal planks of the deck. You step onto the bridge. The wood is solid beneath your feet, and it makes a soft, hollow sound as you walk, not loud, not echoing, just a gentle announcement of your presence. You walk slowly toward the center, and as you climb the gentle incline, the river opens around you, widening in your vision, stretching away on both sides. At the center, you stop. You rest your hands on the railing, and the wood is smooth and cool, slightly damp from the evening air. You lean forward, looking down at the water below. It is moving more quickly here in the center of the river, and you see the surface broken into small ripples, catching fragments of light from the bridge, from the buildings, from the sky. The reflections are no longer clear. They are suggestions, impressions, light that cannot hold its shape. You lift your eyes and look downstream. The river stretches away, curving gently to the right, and along its edges you see lights appearing, street lamps, window lights, the navigation lights of boats moored along the banks. The lights double themselves in the water, stretching into long, wavering lines, and the river becomes a corridor of light and darkness, leading somewhere you cannot see. You hear a sound behind you, footsteps on the bridge, soft and steady. You do not turn. You stay facing the water, and the footsteps grow closer, and then a figure appears beside you, a man older with gray hair and a dark coat. He stops a few meters away and leans on the railing, just as you are doing. He looks out at the river, and you look out at the river, and neither of you speaks. You stand together in silence, two strangers sharing the same view, the same moment, and it is enough. After a while, he pushes away from the railing and continues across the bridge, his footsteps fading, and you are alone again. A boat appears, moving upstream. It is long and low, a barge carrying containers stacked high and covered with tarps. The engine rumbles, a deep, steady sound that carries across the water, and the boat moves slowly, fighting the current. You watch it approach, and as it passes beneath the bridge, you feel the faint vibration of it through the wood beneath your feet, through the railing under your hands. The boat emerges on the other side and continues upstream, its wake spreading wide, touching both banks, and then it rounds the curve and disappears. The water settles again and the ripples fade and the river returns to its steady flow. You stay on the bridge and the darkness deepens. The lights along the railing grow brighter, more insistent, casting small pools of yellow on the deck. The sky above is no longer gray but deep blue, shading into black at the zenith. A few stars appear, faint and scattered, barely visible through the city's glow. The buildings along the river are fully lit now, their windows bright, and you see shapes moving behind them, people in their homes, living their evenings unaware of you watching from the bridge. You think of all the bridges you have crossed tonight. Dozens, perhaps, more. Each one the same and each one different. Each one an invitation to pause, to look, to notice. And this one, this delicate white bridge glowing in the dusk, feels like the last. Not because you will cross no more, but because this is the one you will remember. The lights, the water, the stillness, the way the evening held you here. You push yourself away from the railing and cross to the other side of the bridge. You descend the gentle slope, and your feet find the path again, and you continue along the river. But you do not go far, just a few meters to where another low wall runs along the water's edge, and you stop there and turn to face the bridge. From here, it is perfectly framed, the arch rising against the darkening sky, the lights reflected in the water below, the two halves joining to form that eye shape you saw before, complete now, glowing softly. You see the structure entire, delicate and strong, old and enduring, and you understand why people pause here, why they return, why they stand as you are standing and simply look. You sit on the wall, slowly lowering yourself until you are perched on the cold stone. Your legs dangle, your feet not quite reaching the ground, and you rest your hands beside you and you sit, watching the bridge, watching the river, watching the night arrive. Time moves differently here at the end of a long journey. You do not count minutes. You do not wonder what time it is, or how long you have been walking, or where you will go next. You only sit and breathe and exist in this moment that has no edges, no boundaries, only the present unfolding endlessly, gently, like the river flowing past. A light rain begins to fall. Not heavy, barely more than mist, just the faint touch of water on your face, your hands. You look up and see it falling through the glow of the bridge lights, tiny drops, visible for a moment and then disappearing. The river's surface prickles with 1,000 small impacts, and the reflections blur and soften, becoming dreamlike, becoming memory even as you watch. You do not move. You do not seek shelter. You only sit and let the rain touch you, and you feel it as a blessing, a gentle closing, the city's way of saying what cannot be said in words. The rain stops, or you stop noticing it. The two are the same. You slide down from the wall and your feet find the ground, and you stand there, facing the river one last time. The water flows, dark and patient, carrying everything with it. The rain, the reflections, the hours, the night. It has been flowing long before you arrived, and it will flow long after you leave. And this thought brings not sadness but comfort, a sense of continuity, of belonging to something larger than yourself. You turn away from the river. You walk back along the path, past the bridge, past the benches, past the glowing windows and the silent bicycles. The city folds around you again, Narrower streets, closer buildings, the canals reappearing one by one. You do not retrace your steps. You do not try to find the places you have been. You simply walk and the city guides you and you trust it. The canals are dark now, their surfaces black and mirror smooth. The street lamps glow softly, their light falling in perfect circles, and the reflections stretch long and golden on the water. You pass houseboats lit from within, their windows warm and inviting. You pass bridges, their arches dark against the faint glow of the sky. You pass all the things you have seen before, and they are familiar now, like old friends, like home. You do not say goodbye. You do not pause one final time, do not turn for one last look. You only walk, and the city breathes around you, and the water flows beside you, and the night holds you gently as you drift deeper into its embrace. Amsterdam continues. The canals flow. The bridges wait. The lights glow in windows where lives unfold in quiet rooms. The bicycles rest against railings, and the trees stand patient in their squares of earth. And the stones remember every footstep, every season, every night like this one. And you walk on, carried by the rhythm you have found, the slowness, the stillness, the gentle dream walk through a city that never ends, that only pauses, that breathes in and out with the tide, with the rain, with the turning of hours into morning again. You walk and the city walks with you, and there is no ending, only this. The soft dark, the water, the light, and the endless quiet music of being here, now alive and drifting, held by Amsterdam's ancient, patient heart.